Welcome to Group Dynamics. So, 203, Study Session 8, Decision Making in a Group. Introduction. In this study session, we will differentiate between decision and decision making. We will also discuss some decision making approaches. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Differentiate between decision and decision making. 2. Outline decision making approaches. Decision and decision making. The Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, 1995, defined decision as a choice or judgment that you make after a period of discussion or thought. It also defined decision making as the process of thinking about a problem, idea, etc., and then making a choice or judgment. Decision making is an accepted part of everyday human life. Cole, 1996. As individuals, we make decisions on the spur of the moment, or after much thought and deliberation, or at some point between these two extremes. Our decisions may be influenced by emotions, by reasoning, or by a combination of both. Decisions are based on objective facts, figures, values, and assumptions. As members of groups, we find ourselves making decisions on a group basis, where our own views and feelings have to be tested and criticized along with other members. In any organization or group, people with managerial roles are expected, among other things, to make decisions as an important part of their responsibilities. Decisions are made on several issues in a group. Thus, according to Fawcett 1999, groups make decisions on the following problems. 1. Poor communication skills. 2. Egocentric behavior. 3. Non-participation. 4. Interruptions. 5. Negative leader behavior. 6. Attitudes and emotion. And 7. Failure to stay focused, that is, tendency to become sidetracked. Approaches to decision making. 6 decision making approaches have been identified by Zastro 2001. They are 1. Consensus of the group. 2. Simple majority vote. 3. 2/3 or 3/4 majority vote. 4. Delegated decision. 5. Multiple voting. 6. Average individual opinions. Consensus of the group. According to Johnson and Johnson 1987, consensus is more commonly defined as collective opinion arrived at by a group of people working together under conditions that permit communications to be sufficiently open and the group climate to be sufficiently supportive, so that everyone in the group feels he has had his fair chance to influence the decision. When a decision is made by consensus, all members understand the decision and are prepared to support it. Consensus is the most effective for motivating all groups members to support and work for a decision because everyone comes to agree with the final decision. It resolves controversies and conflicts, thereby increasing the group's ability to make high-quality decisions in the future. However, consensus is the most time-consuming. Since the concerns of each member have to be recognized, it is also difficult to achieve because it requires that members be flexible. Simple majority vote. In this approach, issues are discussed until they are clarified and a vote is then taken. Most groups use a simple majority vote approach. This decision-making approach has several advantages, among which are 1. Decisions are arrived at much faster. 2. Most decisions do not warrant the full support of all members. 3. Makes group, in which members have little trust in one another, become operational. 4. Works in groups. in which communication among members lacks openness. And 5. Works in group, in which some members are unwilling to give up their favorite positions. The simple majority vote has the following shortcomings. A. Minority opinions are not always safeguarded. B. Some people or groups of people, e.g., ethnic or racial groups, gays and lesbians, women and persons with disability, have received the brunt of many adverse decisions made by simple majority voting. C. Majority voting frequently splits a group into winners who can represent as much as 49% of the vote. D. Losers may feel their concerns are not receiving attention. Hence, they may refuse to support group efforts and work to subvert or overturn the decision. And E. Majority voting alienates a minority. The future effectiveness of the group is diminished. 2/3 or 3/4 majority vote. This is a high percentage majority vote for decision making. It is used primarily for decisions of substantial or great consequence, e.g., enacting amendments to a country's constitution or changing the bylaws and constitution of an organization. It is also often used by governmental decision-making units to pass emergency requests for special funds. This type of vote is a compromise between the consensus and the simple majority approaches. It takes more time than a simple majority because more votes are needed, but less time than consensus because not everyone must agree. A small minority can block a decision, so a small majority cannot force its view on them. However, a small minority can be controlled and manipulated by majority rule. It should be realized that a high percentage majority vote will generally draw stronger support from group members than a simple majority, but may not generate as much support as consensus. For instance, the losing side on a 76 to 24% vote under a 3/4 majority system is more apt to go along with the winning side than if the winning side won by 51% under a simple majority system. Delegated decisions. This approach is adopted when large groups cannot carefully debate and make all daily decisions. As a result of this inability, many groups delegate less important decisions to an expert, the group leader, or a subgroup. Experts. Authority can be delegated to the person in the group with the most expertise in a particular area. The expert then reviews the issues and informs the group of the decision. However, it has some problems, which include 1. Difficulty in determining which member has the most expertise. 2. Personal popularity and power often interfere with the accurate selection of the most expert member. 3. Since the decision is left to a single member, there is often little or no discussion of options. 4. A decision made by one person may not receive the support of other members to implement it. Group leader. A group may allow the leader to make certain decisions after he might have called a meeting and described or discussed the issues with the group members. A chancellor or president of a university often uses this approach by seeking the advice and suggestions of various subgroups. The most time-efficient method is when the leader makes a decision without any group discussion. This works best for uncomplicated and less important issues, but may not be effective. The approach has the following shortcomings. 1. By not making issues properly known to the group, members may disagree with the decision made by the leader and withhold resources to implement it. 2. Members may retaliate by limiting authority or by replacing the leader if they feel he's overstepping his authority. However, by involving the group, the leader will hear a variety of options from members. Subgroup. Another approach to delegating decision is to allow a subgroup, e.g., an executive committee, a temporary committee, or standing committee, to make certain decisions. When a subgroup makes a decision, it should consider the views of the larger group, because unpopular decisions are generally not supported. If the subgroup continually makes unpopular decisions, the larger group can review the decisions, change the membership of the subgroup, reduce its decision-making power, or disband it. Subgroups are effective when a group has a large number of minor decisions to make and limited time. Multiple voting. If an organization or group has a number of alternatives before it, a series of ballots may be taken until one alternative receives the required number of winning votes. Multiple voting may be done in a variety of ways, which among others include: A. Balloting until one candidate receives a majority, and B. Narrowing the number of choices. For instance, if there are 50 options, each member may vote for 5 options. The 10 options receiving the most votes are considered in second round, with members voting for 3 options. In the third round, the top 4 options are considered, with members voting for 5 options each. In the fourth and final round, the top 2 options are considered, and members vote for 1 option. With this type of multiple voting, members have to agree on the voting rules before voting. Averaging individual opinion. This approach is applicable in an emergency, when it is not possible to assemble the members for a meeting. In this situation, the group leader may contact each individual member to obtain his or her vote. The alternative chosen is the one receiving the most votes. In this approach, fewer than 50% of the votes could pass the motion, since the other votes may be spread over a variety of options. This approach is useful in making decisions the leader does not believe are important enough for a group meeting. Its shortcomings are as follows. 1. Without group discussion, many of the members may not be fully aware of all the issues, alternatives, or consequences of the proposal. 2. A poor decision may result because the votes of the least informed members may cancel out the votes of the most knowledgeable. 3. With little involvement, members are unlikely to have much commitment towards implementing the decision. 4. There is also a danger that a subgroup opposed to the decision may feel it has been left out and may work hard to overturn the decision or impede its implementation. 5. The person conducting votes may influence the members to vote for his position. Study session summary. In this study session, we discussed both the concept of decision and decision making. But we noted that decision is a choice or judgment one makes after a period of discussion or thought, while decision making is a process of thinking about a problem or idea, and then making a choice or judgment. We explained that our decisions are usually based on objective facts, figures, values, and assumptions. They are influenced by emotions, reasoning, or by a combination of both. We added that decision can be made using 4 approaches: consensus, simple majority votes, 2/3 or 3/4 majority votes, delegated decisions, multiple voting, and averaging individual opinions. End of study session 8. Thank you.